Good afternoon, Eleanor.
Hello, Jimmy.
Thank you for volunteering. Eleanor is an established trainer and presenter, and today we're going to demonstrate how to prepare mentally for a presentation or training. Now, Eleanor, being an experienced presenter and trainer, mental rehearsals quite regularly to get herself into the zone and to focus and to continuously improve her ability to present. Now, I've been a coach and therapist for many years, and I've used this process with some of the world's best athletes, footballers, sports people, and I've transferred the skill across the business successfully to help people in interviews, help people present, help people be able to refine their ability and fulfill their potential. Now, today, what we're going to do is demonstrate step by step the process of mental rehearsal visualization. Now, the first thing we do is create a scenario. It's a bit like being a Hollywood blockbuster director, where you create what we call a script. So we script it, a bit like scripting a film, a scenario. We want to get as close as we can possible to the experience and make it as natural and normal. So with my athletes, we prepare mentally. With my footballers, every year we get together and we create a scenario based on the fixture list. Every game we think about how we'll play, what we'll do, and if it rains, if it's warm, and if it's 1-0 to it. So we have variable permutations. So the brain is familiar, or as familiar as you can do, which is possible. So you might think, okay, it might sound a bit negative preparing for things, a wrong refereeing decision or going down 1-0, but these things happen, don't they? And we want to know how to react when these certain things happen. And we'll sort of transfer that process to presenting. And so the first thing we're going to do, Emma, is create a script and a scenario. So let's get an idea of this presentation, the room, and what's going to be around you, and we're going to feed that back in your mind to rehearse it mentally, visually. So what colour is the walls going to be in the
White.
So the wall's going to be white, and what you want to do is, when you prepare it, is you write it down so you've got that and you can rehearse that mentally. The wall's going to be white. Okay, what equipment will you use? PowerPoint, okay.
Charts,
okay.
and handouts.
Chart, handouts, okay. So if you're trying to make sense of my handwriting, the handwriting's for me to create the script. I wouldn't be too concerned about it. But follow what we're saying, and then you can do your own script based on what you're doing. So you've got handouts, flip charts, okay, PowerPoint, white. Roughly how many people will be there?
About 8 people.
8 people, cool. And will they be male, female?
Both.
Bit of both, okay. So you get the gist now of the script. Now we can go into a lot more detail if we wanted to. For now, and for time and for simplicity, let's just sort of run with that. That's about as much as we need for the time being. We can always refine it and add more detail as and when necessary. We can think about pictures on the walls. We can think about the TV in the room. We can think about coffee in the room. There's many things you can add as well as, but for now, for simplicity, let's sort of focus on a few details and we'll go from there. Once you've got the script, then you want to develop a process. Now, there's the outcome process. The outcome being successful presentation, and how you marginalize that is your call. It might be learning outcomes, it might be aims you've got, it might be other variables. Just like in sport, your goal might be to win a game 1-0, 2-0, or to win a tournament. That's your outcome. To affect your outcome, you need to go to process. So the visualization is about process, about what the steps you're going to take. Just like your goal might be to run a marathon, yet to run a marathon, you've got to run 26 miles. So you focus on putting one foot in front of the other and getting to the end of the marathon, which is key. So this is what we're going to do now. We know what the outcome is. Ellen's done this outcome hundreds of times before, if not even more than that. So it's just the outcome, purely going to go with the process, which is key. Now the beauty about this, the mind can't differentiate between reality and non-reality. Think of a scary film. We've all seen a scary film, and it's really got our heart racing, got the bad dreams, so the mind doesn't differentiate. And it's been proven scientifically, by the way. There's been studies done. There was one study done once where they took 3 groups of basketball players. What they did is one group practiced the free throw line physically, one practiced mentally, and one didn't practice at all. When they re-evaluated the scores 6 weeks after the initial process, they found that the group that practiced mentally, not physically, had improved the most. The group that practiced physically second, and the group that didn't practice at all went backwards. So it goes to show how powerful it is. So these days we can prove that visualization is quite powerful. And athletes will visualize, as you all know, hundreds of times before an event, even more really, which is key to building and strengthening the pathways in their mind. It's a little bit like, to use an analogy, a bit like, let's say you were driving down a new road. Now, even with sat nav, if you've not been there before, you're unfamiliar. Now, think of somewhere you've been before over and over again. It's an unconscious process. Okay, so imagine you were asked to drive somewhere you've never been before. You'd be apprehensive even with a sat nav because you're unfamiliar, but once you've been there once, you're just in autopilot and you go, and that's the same process. The more you do it, the more hardwired you are to succeed. The beauty about visualization, you don't need to do it physically, because obviously to practice physically, presentation or training, and you can condense it to in a time frame, would be impractical. If you had to practice every day for 3 or 4 hours to present, it'd be hard logistically to fit it in. So this we can sort of condense it into 10-15 minutes and just go through in our mind the key points, and then when we get there, we're hardwired to succeed. We can also rehearse questions we're going to be asked and how we're going to answer them, and so on and so forth, which is key. So now what I'd like to do is we're just going to guide you through the process. So we're going to imagine seeing yourself on a screen. So you can watch yourself like watching a screen, and once you've got that image perfect, we can imagine being in the screen, and so on and so forth. So perhaps you'd like to close your eyes and learn to just block out the outside world. And as you close your eyes, you can feel your foot against the floor and your back against the chair. And as you feel your foot against the floor and your back against the chair, you can become aware of your heartbeat. And as you become aware of your heartbeat, you notice your breathing slowing down. And as you notice your breathing slowing down, you begin to relax. And as you begin to relax, you can imagine emptying all your thoughts out into a bag and pick them up in 5 minutes if you wish. For now, this is your time. You can relax, and perhaps you'd like to go back to a time in your life where you felt really relaxed, calm, and at peace with the world. You can't think of a time. Imagine a place. Imagine the most relaxing, calm, tranquil place, what you'd see, what you'd hear, what you'd feel, and let those wonderful feelings spread through every cell of your body. And as you let those wonderful feelings spread through every cell of your body, you just sigh, just relax and let everything go, and fully immerse yourself in this wonderful experience. And as you immerse yourself in this wonderful experience, and in that moment, you begin to focus your attention on the presentation. And as you focus your attention on the presentation, you notice a screen in front of you. And as you become aware of the screen, you see yourself presenting exactly how you want it. Notice the colours, the sounds, the feelings, what's being said. You notice what you're wearing. You might notice the colour of the walls, white, 8 people or so, your flip chart and PowerPoint. And as you notice flip chart and PowerPoint and people, you might notice your watch, any buttons, maybe some coffee in the background, some cups and the handouts. You see the room and you see yourself present elegantly, calm and focused, smoothly, and any questions that are asked and how you answer them. And you might think of 1 or 2 permutations, like someone coming in late, or maybe someone knocking on the door and saying, can I change the coffee over, or these things that happen in training courses. Or maybe someone says, Ellen, I need to move my car, it's on double yellow lines. Just a few permutations just to sort of see how you'll handle that and what you'll do. Now, as you perfect the image, perfect the screen, the image, and see yourself present elegantly, effectively, confidently. Once you've got that perfect, like watching a film, give me a nod. And you can imagine putting the pause button out and walking towards the screen and entering the screen, and you're in the here and now. So you're in the here and now, you're presenting at that specific time, day. You notice the colours of the walls. You're there, see the people, projector, your slides, your flip chart. So you're in the now, you're in the screen itself. And as you become aware of your surroundings, you're in the zone, that zone of optimal performance where things flow, and it's almost like slow motion. And a bit like the slow motion, like when sometimes we can wait for a bus, for example, and it's rainy and windy, and 1 minute feels like an hour, and sometimes we wait for a bus and an hour on a nice sunny day, and we're speaking to someone we really enjoy speaking to, feels like a minute, and it's like his time is just restored, you're relaxed, and you're going through flow, and you love presenting, you've done it over and over again, many times before, and you're answering questions, and it's flowing beautifully, and any permutations, like the guy comes in to change coffee, or someone knocks on the door, or someone says, I've got to go out and move the car, you just handle it efficiently and elegantly and beautifully. And you're running through that and enjoying the experience, and you're passionate about talking about your subject, resilience. You're really enjoying it, and you know your stuff, you've done it many times before, and you're drawing from the unconscious mind, flowing beautifully and elegantly. And as you do that, I once knew this woman who was a presenter for many years, and she said to me, Jim, I've just joined a speaking group. And I said, okay, it's quite interesting you joined a speaking group, you've presented for many years. Really interesting. And she proceeded to say that, well, I've been presenting for many years, yet all that said and done, I'm always looking to improve. And if I join the speaking group, I'm going to improve and refine my skills. And I admire that attitude, and I certainly adopt that attitude myself and would recommend anybody to always improve. And she said to me months after she joined that she got even better than what she was. I said, how did you get better than what you were? She goes, because I learned around people who all brought their own way of presenting, and I learned a bit from him, a bit from her, a bit from the other person. And by doing that and watching them, and just like this process, you watch and you imagine doing it, and she watched, she imagined doing it, and over a period of time, she reinforced all the learning she had and got even better. So you're rehearsing and you're there in the here and now, and you're really there, really living it and enjoying it and getting the buzz. You love presenting, you're a great presenter, you know you're a great presenter, you've been presenting for a long time. You know your stuff, you're passionate about your stuff, and you're enjoying it, you're getting the buzz, and you feel the buzz, and get that buzz spread for every cell of your body, and it feels wonderful to connect to an amazing group, and they're enjoying it and facilitating, and you work your way through the presentation, 1 o'clock through to 3 o'clock, and maybe incorporating a few breaks in between and answering questions and just reinforcing it. And as you work your way through the presentation, you imagine getting towards the end and summarising, and all the learning outcomes you had for the learners and your aims, they've all been transferred to the learners, they've got what they need out of it. Some might not quite have got all of the outcomes, yet you might individualise learning and say, well, you know, you can get in touch and I'll send you additional learning if need be, because sometimes we don't pick everything up straight away, but we pick it up at another point, and you're comfortable and confident with that. You've done it many times before, and that's fine. Just give them learning plans and so on and so forth if need be. But the buzz that a lot of them are in a different place they were. So when they arrive at 1 and they leave at 3, in a whole different place. Even one piece of information that we learn can make a massive difference in our life, and this is your message, your voice, all your experience, your studies, your qualifications, and all you've done over many years. This is your stage and chance to share it. And just rehearsing that and enjoying that. And in a moment, I'm going to count back from 3 to 1. As I count back from 3 to 1, you can think of scenarios you're going to go through this process, maybe different events, different presentations, just embedding the learning. Just like when we drive a car, first time we drive, first, second gear, and then we stall, and then we go to a new road, and then we've not been on a motorway before, and after we've got a motorway, we go a bit faster, and we stretch ourselves over and over again, and you're sort of picking up on things a long way down the line. You've got years of experience, and you know your stuff, you've studied for many years, you've done many courses, and it's just drawing from the unconscious mind, effortlessly and enjoyably. Breathing in, relaxing, and in a moment I'll count back from 3 to 1. As I count back from 3 to 1, you can bring back all the learnings and that you'd like to bring back, and create a whole new set of neural pathways and reinforce many pathways and get more and more hardwired to succeed. A bit like hay in the summer sunshine on a farm, and the tractor builds a pathway in the hay. We build a pathway in the brain, a neurological pathway that might not have been there before, and one that's there before, and it lights up, and the more you use it, the more powerful it gets. And 3, counting back, 2, and coming back refreshed, recharged, revitalized, and coming back in the here and now, 1 in your own time, your own pace. If you want to come back, you might want to stay where you are if you want to, so just gradually coming back, nice and easy. Okay, cool, we're back. It just might take a little bit of time to come around. We're going into trance, light trance, light hypnosis. Okay, so any feedback you'd like to share from the process?
I feel very motivated. It's
fantastic.
Very energized.
Fantastic.
I can't wait to run the training next week.
Fantastic, and I'm sure it's going to be a huge success, like it always is, which is phenomenal. And the key to the process is to carry on doing it as you do, and maybe if you get a chance to go to the venue a day or 2 before and to get even more familiar with the venue and just rehearse again. You can always refine the script. The script can always be refined. We put some detail in there. You would have put more detail in there, no doubt, based on your experience, and from there you can refine the script and play with it and think of permutations. Also think of questions, how to answer the question, and if someone gives you a question, what you'll say. And someone said to me that, what if they don't ask me that question? I said, well, they don't ask you, at least you've rehearsed it. And what if they don't ask me anything I've rehearsed? Well, at least you rehearsed asking questions, but you know your stuff, you've done it for long enough, and most people who prepare, the planning is key. There will be questions, no doubt, that they will ask that it's going to be useful to prepare for, and just flowing it, letting it flow. And the key, even if they don't ask a question, if they do ask a question that we haven't prepared for, just the fact that we're in that mindset and zone, it makes it a lot more efficient for the mind to bounce it off, really. So I would say beyond here, just refine your script. People say, can you do it on your own? Of course you can. All you got to do is lay back and basically visualize. Some people say they find it hard to visualize. What I say to them is just start with a basic picture. Even if they start with visualizing an apple first of all, or their front door. One person said to me once that they couldn't visualize. I said, what colour is your front door? And they said it was white. So, well, you can visualize, so you wouldn't know what your friends look. So not all of us visualize as well as others. Some people are very visual, some are very kinesthetic, some are very auditory, as you all know. But even someone who's very kinesthetic, very tactile kinesthetic, they can still visualize, they just might not visualize as well as someone who's very visual. And in that context anyway, what you do with them is you say to them, okay, can you visualize an orange, or can you visualize and just to sort of set the scene to practice it as they go along, and that's the key. But from this point of view, going forward, you play around with it. How long do you do it for? As long as you feel necessary, because obviously it'd be practical to come home every night and do 2 hours. Yet, like I mentioned before, a bit like time distortion, if you're waiting for a bus and it's a cold, windy day, a minute feels like an hour. And if it's a nice, beautiful, sunny day and you talk to someone you really enjoy talking to, the hour feels like a minute. So time, in that sense, we can just go through the gist and the highlights of what we're going to do going forward. And the beauty of this, you can do it anywhere, sitting in the bus, in the train, just when you're lying down at home and relaxing in the morning and in the evening. I would recommend doing this process in the morning when the mind is fresh and most receptive, by the way, but that's another story for another day. So that's pretty much the key elements. The first step is to remember the script. That's the key. Develop your script scenario, then see yourself disassociated, doing what you want to do, externally disassociated. When you've got that perfect, you step in there and live like the here and now, and then you're underway. So thank you, Eleanor. Best wishes for your presentation. I'm sure it'll be a success, and thank you for watching.